How's it going, folks? Here's your favorite sorcerer, Brady Sopax, with a new video. The public interest in Bitcoin and the field of cryptocurrencies in general has increased enormously in the last few weeks. Concurrent with the recent all-time high and other developments, the most common request that I receive right now through emails, messages, and so on and so forth is, Frank, what do you think about the crypto market and what do you think it is going to do in 2024? Using your astrological knowledge, what do you see coming? When should I get in? When should I get out? Should I realize profits here? We could say that the stars have aligned to bring unprecedented attention to Bitcoin and others in the cryptocurrency space. And especially in boom phases like this, of course, hysteria is extraordinary and tempers overheat. And this also leads to short-sighted actions and most often really bad results. Mistakes that can destroy enormous wealth, and this is why I want to help you with some astrological insights on that topic. I will cover the next 12-month development of Bitcoin and also show what the best strategies are for different investor types. That means it doesn't matter if you're completely new, you have a little bit of experience, or maybe you're a seasoned investor. In all of those cases, you will find valuable insights in this video. So let's get going. In December 2023, I was doing an annual forecast for 2024, and I predicted that we will definitely see new all-time highs for Bitcoin in 2024. And it took not even 6 weeks, and my astrological forecasts were validated by reality and the developments in the market. So right now we're in mid-March, and Bitcoin is around $67,000, which is a new all-time high, much higher than the last one in 2021. In January and February, I knew that the price would only know one direction, which would be steeply upwards. And whenever the price moves upwards so steeply and so quickly, of course, right away a mania starts. And this sharp ascent, however, is not without its dangers. So people start proclaiming that Bitcoin is soon going to reach 250,000, 500,000, even a million. And whenever there's a little setback, a pause in that development, so to speak, people react irrationally and their fears and their panic sets in. The fear that the trend is over and should I take my money out right now? Fear, panic. And of course, this reminds us of 2021. And we realize that fast developments in one direction, an uptrend, often leads to the complete opposite very fast as well. Remember, every expansion caused by Jupiter is then almost always checked by Saturn's influence, which is very much restrictive. In 2021, we were at the dawn of the air epoch, and this was marked by the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees in Aquarius. This cosmic alignment brought a surge in Bitcoin, only for it to be followed by a dramatic fall again. And this cycle is about to repeat itself. The stars advise caution, buying during dips and selling at highs remains the smartest strategy. Looking back at 2021, what exactly was the development back then? Like I said, the situation 3 years ago was the beginning of the air epoch with a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees Aquarius in December 2020. After that, there was an enormous boom that spread over several months until April 2021. Many of the people were brand new to the markets and had no experience at all. See, ideally, you should buy at dips or plateaus, observe the price increase, and buy or sell at the next plateau if you're not doing short selling. In May, suddenly, the price dropped drastically from over $50,000 back to under $30,000, and then it was the same game as always. As a beginner, you might think, Okay, short break. It will go up again, but then it goes even further down. Well, a short breather, you might think, it will go up again, and then it goes down even further, and then panic sets in. I've already lost so much money. I have to do damage control now. I have to get out. And this is exactly what most people will then do. And this is why most people cannot make consistent profits. Any market is cyclical. Now, in this case, a lot of people, of course, they realized massive losses because they didn't follow the right strategy. They sold at the bottom. In November back then, I also told people to not get in right now. I said, please don't go in now. We're now facing a crypto winter. This is what's coming. Prices will collapse before November is over. And this is exactly what happened. And you can see that crash here in the diagram again. Sometime a year later, at the end of 2022, from around $60,000, it dropped down to around $15,000. And since then, Bitcoin was kind of like a sleeping beauty, and not much volatility was observable, not much trading going on, not too many people were getting in newly. The smart money was positioning itself for the next rally, but you couldn't see too much happening there. It was not on the radar of the mainstream, so to speak. I then said in an annual preview in 2023 that now was the time to get back in, and that we have reached the lowest point, and that the price will go up again. And what happened? The price more than doubled in 2023. Now, in 2024, Jupiter's boldness is driving the market upwards, yet Saturn's forthcoming retrograde hints at a correction. See, what most people forget when it comes to investing is the very, very simple principle that it's about buying low and selling high. Buying as cheaply as possible and selling at the highest price possible. So what will the future price development of Bitcoin be until 2025? With the Bitcoin halving this April, we can expect turbulence. See, despite popular belief, this halving is going to occur under Mercury retrograde. So it will not bring the expected prosperity or the value increase of Bitcoin, but it's going to bring a significant downturn instead. So let me explain what the Bitcoin halving is. The Bitcoin halving is an event that occurs approximately every 4 years or every 210,000 blocks mined. And it is a key feature of Bitcoin's economic model that is designed to control the supply of new Bitcoins entering the market. During this halving, the rewards that miners receive for adding new blocks to the Bitcoin blockchain is cut in half. When Bitcoin was created in 2009, this initial block reward was 50 Bitcoins per block. The first halving in 2012 reduced the reward to 25 Bitcoins. The one in 2016 brought it down to 12.5, and the third in 2020 reduced it to 6.25 Bitcoins per block. And this process will continue approximately every 4 years until the maximum supply of 21 million Bitcoins has been reached, which is expected to happen around the year 2140. See, this halving is important for several reasons. Supply control. It ensures that the creation of new Bitcoins slows down over time following a predictable issuance rate. That's very, very important to keep inflation in check. Which leads me to the next point, inflation reduction. As the rate at which new Bitcoins are generated decreases, Bitcoins become less inflationary and potentially even increasing in value. These halving events are closely watched by the cryptocurrency community and can have a significant implication for Bitcoin's price, which is reflecting the changing dynamics of supply and demand. So most expect the price to go up after the halving because the supply is diminished, but the opposite will actually be the case. See, astrologically, we can assume that this halving in April has been priced in a long time ago, and the actual halving in April will more likely cause a price crash. That means from around May onwards, over the summer, Bitcoin will tend to bob along until the next rally, which will start in the fourth quarter of this year. Around October, November, and December, towards the end of the year, the Bitcoin price can actually be expected to go up to $100,000, even $120,000. 200,000, not impossible, but not very likely. And everything beyond that, 300, 400, 500, all of that, forget it, it's not gonna happen. And of course, the same applies to Ethereum as well, because at this point, most of those well-adopted cryptocurrencies are still very correlated in their price. And please don't speculate in any exotic altcoins under any circumstances. This will simply be gambling. You could be lucky and one of those coins goes up 100-fold or something like that. But of course, it could also be what happened to Luna 2 years ago and the price suddenly fell to zero overnight. So the bulk of the rally will happen at the end of 2024. So real profits will only be realized towards the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. Very, very important. At the beginning of 2025, we will see a very, very steep decline of the price again. You will see a sharp uptrend and then all of a sudden it's going to go down very, very sharply as well. You will really have to watch those movements in order to realize your price targets. So in order to get the maximum out of this, it is important that you have a clear exit point. And like I said, the maximum that's going to be realistic for Bitcoin this year is going to be 100,000, 120,000. I doubt 200,000. And it's important that you realize those profits then and there. Don't stay in much longer, because then you're going to lose. You're going to be part of that wave that's going to come down crashing. And of course, I always like to look at things in a bigger context. And Bitcoin and the blockchain technology are definitely one of the important key technologies in the coming air epoch. As opposed to gold, for example, you can really be sure about blockchain and its utility and its increasing importance in the future. So in this new air epoch, Bitcoin and the blockchain are part of a paradigm shift. And even if we're talking about our society restructuring itself into a more sustainable economy, a deflationary currency like Bitcoin, of course, is an absolute game changer. Many of you will have heard about this marshmallow experiment from Stanford University by Walter Mitchell, where they gave children marshmallows and told them to just look at it for 10 minutes and not to eat it. If they were able to do that and not eat it for 10 minutes, they would be rewarded with a second one. And this means you postponing the reward into the future so that the reward becomes greater. And that's actually how our economic systems should work, encouraging people to do things sustainably, thinking about the future, maintaining things, maintaining infrastructure. But right now, we have an economic system that is based on fiat currencies with enormous inflation. This means what's happening to our currency is the opposite of this marshmallow experiment. This means, applied to the experiment, currently with your fiat money, with your euros, with your dollars, whatever your currency is, you want to spend it in the present time. Why? Because if you wait, you'll only get half of it in terms of purchasing power, a quarter, an eighth of a marshmallow. Now, of course, many people would say, I'm not hungry at all right now, but I'll just eat this marshmallow right now before it becomes worth a lot less in the future, right? Makes sense. And this is how fiat currencies are almost forcing us to make short-term decisions, to do short-term thinking, and by extension have a bias for unsustainable ways of doing business. And that is basically the root of the issue and the problem of our current economic system. Different with Bitcoin. Here it's actually the case that it becomes increasingly scarce and it can not be increased at will. So we actually see that cryptocurrencies are a great opportunity for the future, and therefore also a great game changer in an economic system with cryptocurrencies at their foundation. Lastly, I want to say that no matter how much money you're going to make using cryptocurrencies, this should never be an end in itself. There's nothing more destructive than having a lot of money without a viable vision for life. Money is nothing more but stored life force, and it can help us with realizing our goals in the world. Always make sure to keep a bigger vision And this will help you keep an eye on the bigger picture. And this is the only way in which you can deal with those emotional ups and downs that come with investing. And it is actually also one of the secrets to attracting wealth in the first place, the vision. Now, I hope you got something out of this. And please understand that this video was a rough outline. I couldn't get too much into details about technical analysis, fundamental analysis of different projects. There are many, many different projects that are taking place right now and will be extremely profitable in the future. And when you combine that information with astrological knowledge, you will have a very, very strong portfolio that will make you a lot of money, almost guaranteed. So what I decided to do is to create a financial astro newsletter, or an astro finance newsletter, so to speak, which will be published every 2 weeks. I try to do it every 2 weeks, but sometimes there's too much research and I can only do it once a month. But it's going to be free, and it's going to include technical analysis of different projects, not just crypto, but stocks overall. I will include most markets that are well known, S&P 500 and more. Fundamental analysis of those companies, and I will also include astrological knowledge that is applied to it. And based on that, I'm going to create portfolios and concrete stock tips that you will be able to hopefully use. Now, I have to say that this is not financial advice, okay? All I'm sharing is my own personal research. Of course, not all of it, maybe 70, 80% of it. And the conclusions that I come to. But this is not investment advice. You have to make your own decisions, okay? So the disclaimer is out there now. Please make your own decisions. This is not financial advice. This also applies to the Astro Finance newsletter that I'm going to put out there. But like I said, it's going to be free. Hopefully you can use it to not only have a better orientation in the markets these days, but also make a profit off of it. I truly hope so. Now, if you want to subscribe to this free Astro Finance newsletter, you can see a link in the description under this video. It's going to lead you to a landing page where you can do that. I really, really highly recommend it. You will see that I can prove what I claim. And hopefully you got something out of this, like I said. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.